Horror films are a prized form of entertainment. We enjoy being scared and examining the darker side of life or death from the safety of a movie theater seat. But what about when the line between fact and fiction blurs? There are horror films based on true stories. There's been recorded instances of horrible things happening on the sets of horror films as they're being shot. Are we, as a culture that's in love with horror films, playing with fire? And is that okay? Welcome to Dirty Little Secrets,
here at the House of Secrets in Burbank, California.
My name's Trisha Hershberger, and I'm joined here today by Sean Decker and Meghan Tonjes. How are you guys today?
Good. Hey, really Trisha.
Good. So, Sean, tell everybody a little bit about what you do and who you are.
I'm a writer for DreadCentral.com. Have been since 2009. Previously was at Fangoria for about 10 years, so kind of carved out an existence writing about horror films.
Awesome. And Meghan?
I'm a musician on the internet.
You say it's stupid, you say I'm selfish, and I agree.
And I've seen horror films.
Yay, that's perfect. Well, we're going to start off with a little segment called Fact or Fiction. I'm going to say a statement, and you're going to tell me if it's fact or fiction. Ready?
We have to fight to the death for this.
I think you're as qualified as I am.
Okay, good.
We both watch horror films.
Perfect. Nightmare on Elm Street was based on a true story. Meghan?
True.
Sean?
True.
That is correct. Good job, guys. Fact. It was from a series of articles in the LA Times where there were men from Southeast Asia who just happened to be dying in their sleep whilst having nightmares.
Oh my gosh.
Real occurrences. All right, next one. Leatherface, Norman Bates, and James Gumb were all inspired by the same serial killer.
True.
True.
Fact. Yep, they were all inspired by Ed Gein.
Yep.
Do you know him well?
I didn't know Ed. I'm glad I didn't. I would have ended up probably as furniture in his living room.
Yeah, he kept corpses as trophies, right?
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. Made dinner plates, chandeliers.
Out of people?
Out of people.
Oh my god, that's so gross.
He
How did one do that?
He actually didn't kill that many people. He spent a lot of time digging them up out of the cemetery, however.
Okay.
Although it was purported that he did kill his brother, and then later, I believe it was 2 to 3 women before he actually was incarcerated.
Yeah, I know he confessed to killing like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But so his main creep factor was just exhuming corpses.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
dressing up in women's suits that he made from those corpses.
That's quaint.
Yeah, he did that.
I like that.
He was very social.
Obviously. Okay, one more. The Omen is widely known as a cursed film due to events that happened on set. Fact or fiction? Meghan?
Fact.
Fiction.
Fiction. Why did you say that, Sean?
Because nothing happened on set.
Exactly. So it is thought of as a cursed film, but all of the events that happened afterwards. After the film wrapped, one of the film's tiger handlers died. Gregory Peck's son shot himself. A plane scheduled for use in the film, which was rescheduled and used for a commercial flight instead, crashed and killed everybody on board. An assistant to the special effects consultant, John Richardson, was in a car crash on Friday the 13th in 1976 in Holland. His assistant was sliced in half by the car's front wheel in the accident, but he crawled out okay to look up and see a road sign that said 66.6 kilometers.
I think that's really great marketing.
That's a lot. It could just, do you think it's just really great marketing?
I think there's a stretch there.
Well, the internet only has factual things on it.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Absolutely.
I believe everything I read on the internet.
How do you feel about horror films where there's a lot of creepy stuff going on set? I mean, do you feel like we're kind of poking where we shouldn't be poking when people are doing that, or is it all coincidence, in your opinion?
Creepy in regards to what?
Creepy in regards to, say, like the movie Poltergeist. You know what I mean? Like you're filming something and you're playing around with, like, we're having fun with these ideas that are super macabre, and a little bit scary to most people. We're having fun with it, but then when it starts to translate into reality and become actual things we should be afraid of, do you think that's inspired, say, by us poking it a little bit?
Oh man. Well, I'm from the Midwest, so I'm like, I believe everything that happens, and I'm very superstitious, even though I don't want to be. So part of me wants to say that, yeah, you're probably poking where you shouldn't, and whatever's going on is letting you know, hey, back off. But
Yeah.
it's probably just coincidence or something that you're kind of putting out there. It's something that you're paying attention to more than if you were just making a regular film and something weird happened. Because it's a horror film that you're making, you're probably reading into it a little bit too much.
So you think you're just in that mindset anyway?
I'm praying that that's what it is.
Like you're just already in creep factor mindset, so
you're
you're seeing normal things and then interpreting them?
Yeah, or maybe you're just more open to creepy things that happen that might have another explanation, but you're just witnessing more of them because you're kind of in that level, you're on that mindset.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, absolutely. I mean, certainly it comes from your perspective, and whether you believe or not in, let's say, the supernatural or multiple planes of existence or whatnot, then I can understand why somebody would think that you're toying with with a darkness, as it were. I myself don't believe in any of that, so I think, anything that's transpiring on a horror set with people that were related to that production afterwards is purely coincidence, unless they're getting swept up in, said darkness and making bad decisions. But ultimately, I mean, you've been on horror films, and the sets, it's the lightest set you're going to be on.
Right.
It's the most fun you're generally going to have shooting anything. Like, God forbid you have to shoot a romantic comedy, because no one's happy on that set.
No, everyone's worried about if the camera can see up your nose in the kissing scene.
Exactly.
Do you think that people who leave themselves open to believing that these type of things are true when it comes to specifically like paranormal, poltergeist type of horror films, do you think that they enjoy the films more as a viewer? Or do you think that if you, as you say, Sean, don't believe any of it, you're able to have just as much of an appreciation for it and go on the ride with the film?
In working in the film industry on my end, I think, as you do, and obviously as well, I'm just watching films, you're probably viewing them in multiple capacities, one on a production sense and the other one for the story.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm enjoying it for different reasons. I'm not really just swept up into it. When Insidious came out, I love that film. That was kind of my experience with it. Like, I'm really enjoying what James is doing with these film tricks that I've seen done before, but I've never seen them done in this way.
Okay.
Which really got me excited to watch a master craftsman like that work.
Yeah, absolutely. Megan, do you feel like when you're really genuinely believing something and scared of it, do you feel like that makes it a better horror film for you as a viewer?
I think so. I think because it stays with you afterwards, and not in just a sense of like, oh, that movie was really cool to watch, or the effects were really cool. You're walking away being like, this might have changed the way I view the world a little bit, and I might be a little more scared of things now. So I'm definitely, if I watch a movie and it creeps me out, I'll have my lights on when I go to sleep that night because I'm a little too freaked out. And I think it's cool if a movie can do that, if it can kind of, once you leave the theater, you're still thinking about it and you're still affected by it.
Yeah, now you talk about a movie staying with you once you leave the theater. Do you think there are people who leave the theater and the movie stays with them, but in a way of like, oh, I want to emulate that, I want to do that? I mean, there's a lot of people that believe that horror films can breed new copycat killers and that kind of thing. How do you feel about those
I don't
opinions?
think that someone's going to walk into a film without already having that kind of in them and be like, you know what, I'm going to start killing people. I think that
this movie was so good, I'm going to kill people.
I think that's something that's already in you, and maybe that might give you ideas, but ultimately I don't think the average person's going to walk and say, you know what, he got away with that, so I'll do that too. Usually it's, there's a whole other set of paranormal things going on, and I don't think that the average person's going to walk out saying, yeah, I want to emulate that.
Yeah,
but crazy people will.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, mental illness, that's the start of all of that. And it's certainly like, I was watching, for instance, Escape from New York last night. Okay. And with someone who hadn't seen it prior. And there's that scene where Kurt Russell's flying in.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
To the Trade Center.
Spoiler alert.
Right, well.
That's okay, we're allowed spoiler alert.
He basically said, oh, I wonder if the Taliban watched this movie and got the idea to crash the planes into the towers. And I'm like, well, that's a stretch, but possibly. That's possible. But they were going to do it anyway. Yeah. They were going to do something, and that's my point. And I think with American culture particularly, they always want to have a scapegoat. They really need to point their finger at something, whether that be music or horror films or whatnot. Because people are just... We just saw this with that plane that went down, right, in the Pacific, that they looked for months for. Right. Speculation, did aliens take it?
They're already making a movie.
Where is it? Oh, the bottom line is the plane just ran out of fuel and crashed in the sea. Bad things happen. And I think people, as a culture, we need to just accept that. But people want to have everything in a nice box, a little bow, and point their fingers to somewhere. So if Columbine happens, it has to be Marilyn Manson. if that guy dressed up as, you know, the killer from Scream and killed people, then it has to be Wes Craven. It's not the crazy person that dressed up as a fictitious character and went and killed people. So
totally. We have a tweet from Silly Pillows says, "We learn a lot about what not to do. Never search in the dark. Never split up your group, etc." How do you feel about these horror movie rules, and do you think they would work in real life?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they're good. I like when a movie plays with them too. I like when a movie takes something that you're like, well, they'll be fine because this is the rule. And they completely break it, and then you're like, oh, all bets are off. So nothing's safe now. And even in this world where nothing is safe, there were rules, and now those are gone.
Yep.
I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think when I remember watching Scream, and they were like, you don't do this.
Yeah.
If you're a virgin, you're living. You know, all these things, and then they kind of played off that the entire movie. I love that.
How do you feel about horror movie rules, Sean?
Oh, well, Kevin Williamson did such a great job with the original Scream.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly, those conventions are super fun to play with. And particularly, you know, when he took that meta approach with that film, and we've seen that, you know, kind of grow since then in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as how they, you know, pertain to real life, absolutely. It's probably not a good idea to drive out in the desert in your beat-up truck with 3 people drunk in the middle of the night. Bad things are probably going to happen.
Don't go to a weird cabin and screw all your friends.
Oh, no. I've been on tour before where we've driven through places late at night, and I'm like, we got to go. We don't stop at gas stations here, because I've seen movies that start out like this, and they do not end well. So.
What's your favorite horror movie trope, if you will?
Ooh. I always love, I don't know that it's necessarily a trope, but I always love that there's always the girl that can't run correctly. Like, there's always the girl that's running from something and is just flailing about and falling. You're like, if you would just stop screaming and crying and freaking out and just ran in a direction.
But then we wouldn't
so
get to see her boobs bounce nearly as much.
That's true.
That is true.
That is, okay, I take it back. I'm pro boob bounce, so.
I'm definitely pro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Know. Your favorite horror movie rule?
What's my favorite horror movie role?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily have one. I laugh every time somebody's like, "What is that? We should go find out."
Yeah.
Don't ever go find out. Just get in a car and leave.
Don't go investigate a strange noise or something.
You can live your life not knowing. It's fine.
You don't need to know. Mine is the running upstairs. Don't run upstairs.
No, you should be running out the door.
Right. Leave the house. Why are you trapping yourself further inside?
I love it.
Drives me crazy. All right. At Barrow C, Colin Barrow says, definitely positive to society. Think most viewers side with the good guys and enjoy the idea of triumphing despite being scared out of their wits. Don't think films create sociopaths either. So Colin Barrow definitely thinks that it's beneficial to society. Do you think there's a way, as a viewer, as a person without sociopathic tendencies going into the theater, just a normal, everyday, healthy mental state person, a way to take something away from horror films that then benefits life?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and I think, particularly it's a safe scare. Going all the way back to the marketing campaign for John Carpenter's Halloween, one good scare. I think everybody needs that. Life is exceedingly stressful, as we all know, on a daily basis. So to be able to have that escape is, and whether that be in horror or any other form of entertainment for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and kind of confront some of those things.
A good scare, a good laugh, whatever you need is like a tension reliever.
Exactly. I mean, in the safety of a dark theater, it sounds scary, but it's not. Particularly for an American culture, that's what we've grown up watching. Those are our collected stories.
Yeah.
Our drawings on the cave wall, as it were, and our points, that we're all able to, relate to.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think it's a release. I think it's a fun to be in a room of people watching a movie and all be scared at the same thing and freak out. I think it's fun as a community to kind of experience that together, and you're dealing with darker subjects, obviously, in a way that we don't get to deal with every day, but you kind of get to explore that dark side, and I think it's just fun. I think that it's a way to just explore a side of things that we don't often think about, and we can kind of have fun and not be, there are daily stresses. Like, you never really see someone in a horror film worrying about, paying bills and stuff. It's always it's always something much bigger than that. So I think it maybe makes you appreciate how boring life can be sometimes. You're just like, well, I'm not getting chased by a monster, and no one's trying to kill me in my sleep.
So are either of you the type of people that get really scared and then laugh?
Yeah. Oh, I totally do that. I get comfortable and I start laughing, or I'll kind of cover my face and just be like, I can't do it.
No.
No.
I'm so inured to horror films at this point.
I picture you being completely stoic in the theater, Sean.
Yeah, no, I mean, it depends on the film. Look, Godzilla just came out. I'm sorry. There's about 3 moments in that movie where you just, as a fan, want to get up and actually clap and jump around in the aisle.
Oh, yeah?
You know, so for me, that was great. Because often, yeah, I do watch films and I'm like, all right. But, you know, it depends on the quality of the film. It depends on the quality of the film.
Everyone says that really, really bad horror movies are really, really good. How do you feel about that, speaking of the quality of the film?
I think that's more the community thing. I think that's just fun to watch those with friends and kind of make fun of it or get a cheap scare. I think if you're looking for, like, the quality films, those are definitely different than that. I think that's more about being around people. I wouldn't watch a bad horror film on my own.
No?
No, I don't think so. I think that's you have some drinks with friends, you get some popcorn, you sit there and kind of poke fun at it or are a little more scared than you would be normally.
Yeah, it's like a rating system. It's like a 2-beer movie or a 3-beer movie.
Okay.
But then trying to figure out what is a bad movie and what's a good movie, I don't know. Like
that's true.
Netflix is streaming Maximum Overdrive and it only has 2 stars. What's that about?
And you love it?
That movie's awesome.
So this is a quiz called Can You Survive a Horror Movie?
I would die so quick.
Dun dun dun. It's after midnight and you're home alone. You hear a noise coming from the other room. What do you do?
I get my
Your
car
first option is grab a bat and hide in the closet until it's safe. Your second option is investigate. It's probably the wind.
Well, I'm going to go to the closet except I'm going to get a gun.
That's not an option. Bat closet?
The bat.
I'm sad that running to my car and leaving isn't an option.
All right, we're going to go with bat closet. Smart move. But your roommate just came home. Do you quietly warn her and make room in the closet? Or do you sit tight? If there's a killer in the house, I'll get her first and you can run.
I'm sitting tight.
I love my roommate so much, but I'd let you go, Keith.
Bye, Keith. It's every man for himself. While the killer is busy slaughtering your friend, you make a run for it, but he spots you before you can escape. You stay and fight, run into the woods, or run upstairs. No upstairs!
Well, I probably have my landline upstairs where I can call the cops. I'm going to say run into the woods.
That landline was cut.
I know. I know.
You know what? I'm not much of a flight guy, so I'm going to stand and fight.
Okay, let's see. So we got to pick one. Which one do we want to do?
I'll fight.
Join together.
I guess I'll fight.
We're going to stay and fight, kids. Choose a weapon. Bat, shoe, or butter knife.
Ooh, bat.
I'll go with the bat.
Bat.
So butter knife would be pretty good.
Good choice. Baseball practice pays off and you whack him hard enough to knock him out. Do you check to see if he's really dead or run into the woods?
Run into the woods.
Okay.
Oh, this is like a choose your own adventure.
Or it could be checked to see if he's dead while repeatedly hitting him with the bat.
Yeah, by check
that's
to
what we should do.
Yeah, you didn't even just keep hitting him.
Just keep going. Running hard is really wearing you out and you trip and fall. Before you know it, he's right behind you!
Of course.
Do you hide behind a tree or play dead?
Play dead? Oh, he's gonna kill me anyways.
We're dead either way.
We're dead. We're so dead. Can I climb the tree? I'm gonna say play dead.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
I probably just killed us. Sorry.
Yep, you're dead.
Good job.
Never play dead in a horror movie. He grabs you and throws you into a well. Now you're really dead. Apparently there's a well in this forest.
No,
yeah,
then
where'd
you're
the well
cool
come
because
from?
when you
Why
come
was I
back to
hiding in the
Samara.
Totally! Yay!
It all
And
comes
it's a
back.
happy ending. How do you feel about horror films intersecting with reality? Are they a great influence? If so, how? Are they a negative influence in your opinion? If so, how? Let us know in the comments down below. Megan and Sean, thank you guys both so much for joining us today. Where can they find more of you?
I'm on YouTube at Tonjes ML. I play the music about boys and sing sad songs. Not horror films over there, I promise. Emotional horror films.
Oh, no! And Sean, where can people find more of you?
Catch me at dreadcentral.com and a film hopefully coming out soon called LA Slasher.
Yay! Tell us a little bit about LA Slasher. Can you reveal any of it? Is it all NDA right now?
It's pretty much, yeah, on the down low.
I'm gonna guess people die.
You would be correct. Yeah, it's a film about somebody who abducts reality stars.
Oh,
I think we could all relate to that.
Oh, that's very Los Angeles. I love it. All right, well, thank you guys both again so very much. Folks, don't forget to like this video. You can subscribe to Fright-O-Verse if you want to see more horror. Anything and everything horror can be found here on this new channel. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.